Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Government House. My name is Hugh Borriman. I'm the Governor's Official Secretary and I'll be the Master of Ceremonies today. Firstly, can I thank you for your cooperation and indulgence in taking the long way around. The main steps to the building, the steps facing North Terrace, late 19th century, as I say, steps, people with mobility challenges, wheelchairs, impossible to come through the front entrance. Her Excellency and Mr Bunton want Government House to be a house for all South Australians, and that presupposes everybody should be able to come through the front door. Because of the engineering and heritage challenges, it turns out the only way we can do that is to raise the ground level outside, and that's what you saw. So for the next session of these, everybody will be able to come through the front door, but once again, thank you for your indulgence. Could I please ask that you turn your mobile phones to silent? We also ask that there's no photography during this ceremony. As you can see, we have an official photographer, and at the end of the proceedings, you're welcome to take photographs in here, elsewhere in the House, including with Her Excellency. The ceremony is being live streamed and will be available later on our website for people who may not have been able to see it. Can I also ask you please to join me in thanking the band of the 10th 27th Battalion, Royal South Australian Regiment, Australian Army. I will now announce the official party. They are Mrs Rhiannon Pearce, MP, representing the Premier, Dr Richard Harris, Lieutenant Governor of South Australia, Mr Josh Teague, MP, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Commander Toden Ryder, Commanding Officer, HMAS Encounter, Brigadier Timothy Orders, Army Area Representative South Australia, Royal Australian Navy, Air Commodore Grant Fifield, Senior Air Force Representative, South Australia, and Commissioner Grant Stevens, Commissioner of Police. If you are able, can I now please ask you to be upstanding for the arrival of Her Excellency the Governor and Mr Bunton, and to remain standing for the playing of the Vice-Regal Salute.
Please be seated, everyone. That was quite a brisk Vice-Regal salute, actually, wasn't it, for a beautiful morning? Welcome, everyone. I'm going to start in the way I always do on Kaurna country with an acknowledgement in language. Kaurna bogana alia, Kaurna miana alia, yaichi miana alia, kumitana yartananku. Nyatuna tampandi, Kaurna miana, yaichi yatamatana, pukininanku, Yalaka Takaricha. I acknowledge and pay my respects to Aboriginal people here this morning, whether from Kaurna country or other lands and regions. And I also acknowledge the Kaurna as the traditional custodians from the past, today, and into the future. Rod and I welcome you all most warmly to Government House. I heard the Official Secretary using a line that I often say, and so does Rod because we believe it strongly, that Government House is a house for all South Australians, and we really want you to enjoy today. It should be one of happy memories. I do want to start formally by congratulating those I'm about to invest with their insignia. We've corresponded. I wrote to you all at the beginning of the year, just as the Australia Day honours were about to be announced, and of course you are recipients in this 50th year of the association. But I do know that some people sometimes find walking down this red carpet a little daunting, and I want to encourage you to think there is a formality about this occasion, Investiture Ceremony, of course, but it is also deeply personal, very warm, and I hope enjoyable for everybody. Now, for those who are here supporting recipients of these awards, I want to thank you for everything you've done to make it possible for them to be here, not just today, but over often what has been a lifetime of outstanding service or exceptional achievement. And it's a pretty rare person who can do all of that on their own without any help. So I want to acknowledge you all, and I hope for you it will be a day to remember. As I said, these awards in the Order of Australia, are to recognise outstanding service and exceptional achievement. And although everyone here is here for one person in particular, in the course of the ceremony you will come to understand what everybody else has done. And that all adds up, in my experience at least, to something quite extraordinary. And because it's extraordinary, we've got some very special people with us today. And again, I heard the Official Secretary acknowledge the official party. It's always lovely at this particular ceremony to have the Lieutenant Governor here. Of course, the Premier and Leader of the Opposition are represented. The service chiefs are here in person. And it's wonderful. I know some of you are here for the first time, but there are some people here today who've not just been here many times before, but in the case of my predecessor, my immediate predecessor, the Honourable Hugh Van Lay, who actually lived here, stood here and did this. And it's wonderful to see you here, and of course Lan, who will shortly be invested, on the other side of the ceremony. We also have with us, and I mention these names because you may not be as familiar with them, but Rick Morris, who represents South Australia on the Council for the Order of Australia and for the Australian Bravery Decorations Council. Lovely to have you with us here, Rick. Tony Metcalf, Chair of the South Australian chapter of the Order of Australia Association. And I think we also have, the South Australian President of the Australian Bravery Association, or not. Anyway, today is partly about bravery, and we normally would have. It's extraordinary too today because typically none of the recipients, and I think absolutely in this case, have sought recognition. And in fact, at every one of these ceremonies, there is at least one person, and I won't ask you to put up your hand, who has deleted the email from the Honours Secretariat because you think it's a phishing, it's a scam of some kind, it can't possibly be true. Some of you may have even checked with your spouses before doing that. But of course you do what you do and you don't think of recognition. And I want to acknowledge that because it's an important aspect of the Order of Australia. The other important thing about it is everyone is here today because they were nominated by another Australian. And I really want to encourage you all to be on the lookout for the many other South Australians who are worthy of that recognition. Please nominate them. It's a relatively straightforward thing onto the website because there are many more deserving people who should have the opportunity that is being afforded today. And the final thing, a word to the recipients. Please, and this has become a subject of ongoing conversation with recipients, please do wear your insignia. I wear my pin almost every day unless I'm in the garden. I wear my neck decoration on very special occasions like today. And there are miniatures for evening wear when miniatures are required. So please, it takes a little while to work out what you should wear when, but please wear them with pride. Official Secretary.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been appointed an officer in the General Division of the Order of Australia. Professor Claire Edwina Smith is recognised for distinguished service to tertiary education, particularly social and anthropological archaeology, and as a national and international academic. Professor Smith is an anthropological archaeologist with Flinders University, whose research focuses on how Indigenous knowledge can enrich archaeological theory, method, and practice. Her deep research into Aboriginal ways of being, knowing, and doing is based on long-term relationships of trust. She has worked closely with Aboriginal people of the Barunga region, Northern Territory, since the early 1990s, and more recently in the Najuri and Adnyamathanha people of South Australia. Formerly Head of Archaeology and Dean Research of the College of Humanities, Arts and Social Sciences at Flinders, Professor Smith was Principal Supervisor to the first two Aboriginal Australians awarded a PhD in archaeology, Dr. Chris Wilson and Dr. Kelly Pollard. Together with Dr. Pollard, she is co-lead of the Australian Hub for the Centre of Braiding Indigenous Knowledges and Science, based at the University of Massachusetts in the United States. President of the World Archaeological Congress from 2003 to 14, Professor Smith is Academic Secretary of the 10th World Archaeological Congress in Darwin, June 2025, the first time the conference has come to Australia. She has produced more than 200 publications, including 11 authored books and 8 anthologies. Professor Claire Edwina Smith. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been appointed a member in the General Division of the Order of Australia. Ms. Joanne Margaret Hedges is recognised for significant service to Indigenous community, particularly through oral health research and improved outcomes. A Yamachi woman, Ms. Hedges has dedicated her career to the oral health of Indigenous Australians. As Director and Senior Research Officer of the Indigenous Oral Health Unit at the Australian Research Centre for Population Oral Health, University of Adelaide, her research and advocacy work makes an important contribution to the overall health and well-being of Aboriginal and Torres Strait communities. Ms. Hedges has been Chief Researcher for multiple grants from the National Health and Medical Research Council. Her research projects have investigated early childhood cavities, human papillomavirus-driven oropharyngeal cancer in Indigenous communities, the effects of sleep on oral health, and more. She has also contributed to research on broader health topics of concern to Indigenous Australians, such as personalised medicine and the human microbiome, as well as investigating ethnic racial identity, attitudes and self-esteem in South Australian Aboriginal children. Ms. Hedges is also involved in building the cultural competency of students and staff in the Indigenous Oral Health Unit at the Adelaide Dental School and the wider university faculty. Ms. Joanne Margaret Hedges. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Group Captain James William Blagg is recognised for outstanding achievement in Australian Defence Force Air Capability Sustainment Contracting. Group Captain Blagg's outstanding leadership and negotiation skills were crucial to the successful contracting of sustainment activities for the P-8A Poseidon and the MQ-4 Triton aircraft. His detailed analysis, novel approach and superb stakeholder engagement delivered agreements on through-life support for the aircraft, resulting in outstanding commercial and operational outcomes for Defence. His exceptional commercial acumen has delivered significant organisational improvement within a complex commercial and operational environment. Committed to defence industry growth in South Australia, he has spearheaded the implementation of new local support arrangements for multiple new Air Force aircraft types. Group Captain Blagg was also instrumental in the establishment of new apprentice training systems and aerospace job creation opportunities for the state. Group Captain James William Blagg. Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Australian Police Medal. Senior Sergeant First Class Sandra Joy Daly is recognised for distinguished service to the community within the South Australia Police. Senior Sergeant First Class Daly has been an inspirational leader within the intelligence portfolio during the 43-year policing career. Her strong focus on both operational and strategic intelligence assessments has seen her lead intelligence teams and influence investigations to successful conclusions, having a positive impact on major crime resolution and general crime rates. She has been at the forefront of establishing new practices, systems, and team structures to enhance police operations. Her renowned strong work ethic and enthusiasm have been integral in making key contributions to crime trend analysis, leading to better resource deployments. This has also greatly improved SAPOL's understanding of criminal activity, leading to greater crime reduction and enhanced community confidence and satisfaction. Her leadership, knowledge and experience inspire others, and her input is regularly sought across SAPOL and community groups. Senior Sergeant First Class Sandra Joy Daly. Brevet Sergeant Lynette Ann Gibson is recognised for distinguished service to the community within the South Australia Police. Since joining SAPOL in Adelaide in 1997, Brevet Sergeant Gibson has spent the past 26 years policing remote regional communities, including Ceduna and Peterborough. In 2008, she became the Child and Family Intervention Officer in the Anangu community of the APY lands. She has supported women and children to speak up about domestic abuse and has educated the community about respecting themselves and their family environment. Her focus on education, rehabilitation and prevention has lessened the need for police intervention in these matters. Brevet Sergeant Gibson's commitment, professionalism, expertise and leadership have set a benchmark for cooperation and collaboration between the Anangu community and police. Her ability to build connections between SAPOL and community members has encouraged vulnerable people to find their worth and their voice. Her knowledge, experience and guidance have been instrumental in enhancing the profile of women police in the APY lands. Brevet Sergeant Lynette Ann Gibson. Superintendent Mark Christopher Searus is recognised for distinguished service to the community within the South Australia Police. A 45-year operational career has seen Superintendent Searus making significant contributions to the community and South Australia Police. Commencing his career in Port Augusta and the APY lands, he soon became officer in charge of Andambuka Police Station. In 1989, he transferred to Special Tasks and Rescue, or STAR, operations and served with distinction for 12 years in complex and hazardous incidents. He has been the officer in charge of STAR operations, the Communications Centre, and now the Mid-North Local Service Area, where he leads 140 staff across 32 small stations. Superintendent Searus has also maintained a 28-year commitment to Operation Flinders, guiding countless vulnerable young people to build resilience and character. Recognised as South Australian Police Officer of the Year in 2022, he's an inspiring and trusted leader whose lifelong commitment to the safety and security of his community is to be applauded. Superintendent Mark Christopher Searus. Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division. Mr Kingsley Charles Blencarn is recognised for service to the community of Onkaparinga. Mr Blencarn has been a dedicated contributor to the Adelaide Hills community for several decades, in particular the Lions Club of Onkaparinga. As President from 2018 to 20, he led a reinvigoration of the club to give its members a new sense of direction, leadership and unity. Losing his home in the 2019 Adelaide Hills bushfires, Mr Blencarn used this experience to help others who experienced similar losses, sourcing financial support for families through the Australian Lions Foundation. He has been heavily involved in community sport, including as a former president of the Woodside Tennis Club, umpire for the Woodside Bowling Club and a committee member for Oakbank Golf Club. Mr Blencarn has also spent hundreds of hours as a volunteer bus driver for a range of community organisations and is a former St John Ambulance volunteer and ambulance officer. Mr Kingsley Charles Blencarn. Mrs Lun Lay is recognised for service to the Crown and to the community of South Australia. Mrs Lay has made an enduring contribution to the South Australian community through a life marked by service, compassion and quiet leadership. From 2014 to 2021, during her husband, the Honourable Hugh Van Lay's term as Governor of South Australia, Mrs Lay was patron in her own right to more than 40 organisations across the health, education, cultural and social sectors. Mrs Lay engaged closely with individuals and communities, shining a light on important causes with her characteristic warmth and enthusiasm. In acknowledgement of her ongoing service, Mrs Lay holds life membership with Cystic Fibrosis SA, Palliative Care SA and the Rose Society of SA. She also serves as an ambassador for Grand Carers SA and, since 2021, has been patron of the St Andrew's Hospital Foundation. During her professional career, Mrs Lay devoted more than 3 decades to working in various Commonwealth government departments as a social worker and rehabilitation consultant. Mrs Lun Lay. Mrs. Janine Margaret Malloy is recognised for service to swimming as an official and administrator. For more than 4 decades, Mrs. Malloy has demonstrated extraordinary commitment and leadership to the sport of swimming, both at the local and national level. A member of the Henley and Grange Swimming Club since 1979, Mrs. Malloy has held a number of roles, including president, committee member, records officer and volunteer. She also co-authored a book to mark the club's centenary history. Mrs. Malloy has volunteered countless hours to Swimming SA as a referee, technical official and committee member, and was made a life member for her service. She has also been instrumental in officiating at national competitions for 25 years, ensuring the smooth running of high-level events and upholding the integrity of the sport. Mrs. Malloy's contributions extend to organising district-level competitions for School Sports SA, supporting the development of young swimmers, and contributing to the operation of Thepperton Aquatic Centre as an inaugural member of its board. Mrs. Janine Margaret Malloy. Mr. Peter George Squires is recognised for service to community history. The pioneer village Old Tailem Town at the entrance to the River Murray is a time capsule of South Australian heritage. Developed through the passion and dedication of Mr. Squires over 40 years, the tourist attraction sports 15 buildings on 15 streets, including many historical buildings collected from all over Australia. The recreation of an historic Australian town immerses people, and particularly children, in the lifestyle of days gone by. To ensure authenticity, Mr. Squires purchased old buildings, some more than 100 years old, and transported them to the property. Mr. Squires is also recognised for encouraging friendliness and greater knowledge of mental health issues by instigating the Waving for Wellbeing campaign. Shaped by his own grief in losing his grandson to mental health issues, Waving for Wellbeing promotes the friendliness and community in Tailem Bend and beyond. Mr. Peter George Squires. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the Military Division. Major Mark Roy Everingham is recognised for meritorious service in Regimental Sergeant Major appointments with the 22nd Engineer Regiment, Joint Task Unit 62921 and the 1st Combat Engineer Regiment. Major Everingham's meritorious service across a range of RSM positions has directly and substantially enhanced defence capability and the lived experience of its people. His consistently superior leadership and focus on people has resulted in world-class warfare and professional development and support to soldiers. His unwavering dedication to duty has contributed to the operational successes of multiple domestic support operations and has ensured the 1st Combat Engineer Regiment is future-ready and best prepared for light shoreline littoral operations. While serving in the 1st Combat Engineer Regiment, Major Everingham led the transformation of the unit into the Australian Army's Littoral Combat Engineer Regiment. This resulted in the publication of a document which is now the leading authority for the Royal Australian Engineers in developing the Army's littoral capacity. Major Mark Roy Everingham. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been awarded the Bar to the Conspicuous Service Medal. Warrant Officer Mark Daniel Verhoeven is recognised for meritorious achievement in construction engineering and shipbuilding within the Royal Australian Navy Offshore Patrol Vessel Programme. Warrant Officer Verhoeven has demonstrated meritorious dedication and technical mastery to the Naval Construction Branch and SEA 1180 Offshore Patrol Vessel Programme. His leadership, perseverance and exemplary service was instrumental in improving crew safety and enhancing maritime capability for the Arafura-class offshore patrol vessels. Displaying superior skill during challenging, diverse and demanding situations, his efforts will have enduring benefits for the Navy's future capabilities. Warrant Officer Verhoeven continues to play a lead role in the Offshore Patrol Vessel Programme through managing new ship Arafura on behalf of the project officer until the ship's transit from South Australia and commissioning in Western Australia. He also shares his deep knowledge of the offshore patrol vessels by donating his time to lead tours of ships under construction. Warrant Officer Mark Daniel Verhoeven. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. Squadron Leader Ryan John Millsop is recognised for meritorious achievement as the Australian Liaison Officer at the United Arab Emirates Air Force Air Warfare Centre, located at Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE. Squadron Leader Millsop has made a conspicuous contribution as Australian Liaison Officer to the UAE Air Force through dedication and achievement. His leadership and initiative resulted in improvements to the quality of training by demonstrating superior acumen and delivering training to a multinational audience. This significantly raised the reputation of the Royal Australian Air Force in the context of strengthening a key strategic partnership with the United Arab Emirates. He built relationships that will be enduring in nature and ensured that Australia and the UAE will continue their positive engagement into the future. His efforts supported the development of a first-of-type training course that will continue to strengthen engagement with a broad multinational audience for many years. Squadron Leader Millsop recently left his full-time commitment to the RAAF to pursue an allied civilian career in defence operational planning, but continues to serve Australia as a reservist. Squadron Leader Ryan John Millsop. Your Excellency, The following recipient is recognised with the award of a Group Bravery Citation. Mr. Jace Shaw is recognised for his action in intervening and apprehending a man armed with a knife in Sydney on the 13th of August 2019. On the first day of a new job, Mr. Shaw was travelling as a passenger by car in central Sydney when he witnessed a young man stab a woman at the intersection of King and Clarence Streets. A former soldier who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, Mr. Shaw jumped out of the car to chase down the attacker. The attacker was carrying a satchel, and Mr. Shaw was concerned it might contain an explosive. He was joined by several other men who were nearby, including office workers and 2 off-duty firefighters, and together they pursued the attacker down the street. Mr. Shaw and the other men yelled at members of the public to get out of the way as the attacker continued to swing his knife at people, narrowly missing a man in a car and a woman on the street. Mr. Shaw and his group picked up speed. One of the men picked up a chair and hit the attacker, who stumbled to the ground, the knife falling from his hand. Mr. Shaw grabbed a nearby milk crate and used it to pin down the attacker's head, while the other men held down the rest of the attacker's body and another member of the public stood on the knife. The men remained in position while they waited for police to arrive. By his actions, Mr. Shaw demonstrated considerable bravery. Mr. Jace Shaw. Your Excellency, that concludes the presentations for today.
Thank you very much. And look, thank you all. I hope you can now see what I was talking about at the beginning. This is an extraordinary occasion. The whole is more than the sum of the parts, even though every individual part, every individual person is so worthy of our recognition, not only in this state but nationally. This is the first investiture ceremony for this group. And it brings together in a really interesting way, I think, people who have served in our Defence Forces, people who have served in the South Australian Police, a recipient of a Bravery Award, and I could see the looks on everyone's faces as we could all hear ourselves pounding down the street, milk crate in hand, but also what happens in civilian life, what happens when people just become engrossed in something and do it to the very best of their ability over a lifetime. So I'm so pleased that you've been able to be with us today as part of this first ceremony. Please do nominate, please do wear. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please be upstanding for the departure of Her Excellency Mr. Bunton and the official party. Can I invite the guests, please, to join Her Excellency Mr. Bunton in the drawing rooms for tea and coffee, and for the recipients to remain in the room for a group photograph. And as I said before, you'll be more than welcome to come back later on or take photographs anywhere in the house. Thank you very much.